Okay, let's move on. CNN's Chris Cuomo. I've been excited to do this segment now for some time. So, Krystal and I were shocked when CNN actually did something after those revelations that we gave you on Tuesday came out, where Chris was actively involved in using his sources, in using his platform and more in order to aid his brother's campaign, in order to keep his office after being accused of sexual assault. He was using his own sources in the media to try and dig up dirt on the women accusing his brother of sexual assault. Low life, lower life than can even really be imagined. Not necessarily helping your brother, which I guess I admire, lying about it to your bosses, lying about it to the American people on your network, and basically portraying yourself as just, oh, I was a little bit involved, when you were actually an intimate advisor. You have to pick one, especially when you work for a purportedly unbiased news organization.
Yep.
So let's put the tear sheet.
If you want to be family first, good. Resign from your job.
Or take a leave of absence. Be like, look, I'm sorry. There's no way I can cover this fairly. I actually would have respected him a lot more for that. Anyway,
absolutely.
CNN has suspended Chris Cuomo indefinitely. The New York Attorney General's office released transcripts and exhibits Monday that shed new light on Chris Cuomo's involvement in his brother's defense. The documents, which we were not privy to before their public release, raise serious questions. When Chris admitted to us he had offered advice to his brother's staff, he broke our rules, and we acknowledged that publicly. But we also appreciated the unique position he was in and understood his need to put family first and job second. However, these documents point to a greater level of involvement in his brother's efforts than we previously knew. As a result, we have suspended Chris indefinitely, pending further evaluation. Now, there's something really interesting happening here, Krystal, and I actually do believe that the new ownership of CNN actually has played a role in this. So purportedly, this is the reporting, and I've been following, the Hollywood reporters are not such political hacks as our people.
Yeah.
So they just tell you what's going on. So the new Discovery CEO, this is from Ben Mullins of the Wall Street Journal, who covers Hollywood, was actually in Time Warner Center in New York on the day that all this happened. He had pre-planned meetings with Jeff Zucker. So they actually had an entire staff meeting that was ready to go when the revelations came out. Now, reportedly, the new CEO was in the room with Zucker where the suspension decision was ultimately made, and then it was Zucker's job to call Chris in and be like, look, man, you're out. Like, I'm sorry. But I really, and this is 100% my speculation, but given the CNN shareholder who we brought you guys saying, I would like to see a return to news, there have been leaks out in Hollywood where the new CEO is actually moving, that the new CEO is not happy with CNN as a product whatsoever, that Jeff Zucker is going to be leaving his job in 2021. That was relatively planned, that they have a new vision for the network, that they are planning even in firing some hosts and not, was very unhappy, and that this was a straw that broke the camel's back. I personally, I don't believe that Cuomo was suspended without the new CEO in charge, the Discovery CEO in charge of the entire network.
That's very interesting. Yeah, because Zucker and Chris Cuomo are friends.
Yes.
They're buddies.
Mean, close. And also, Zucker made Cuomo the linchpin of his nighttime programming. I mean, he plucked him from that terrible New Day show, the morning show, and gave him the 9 p.m. primetime slot on CNN. He had the highest rated network, which is not a lot.
Low bar.
Yeah, very low bar.
Always stipulate.
Much less than what we do here. But he had the highest rated show that was actually on that network at the time, and Zucker reportedly views his talent like his family. This is from people I know who've spoken with Jeff Zucker, and he's like, really reluctant. So I do think that this is a foreboding sign to the people at CNN who've been getting away with this nonsense for a very long time. This new CEO, look, it's always, take it with a grain of salt. There will still be very annoying things that happen on that network. But even this, the new boss was like, I don't think so. He's like, no way.
Also, because their ratings are such trash now.
Yes.
That always, even though from a business perspective, the ratings don't actually matter that much to the bottom line.
Right.
Because it much more is about, the cable carry rates. That's where most of the money is ultimately made. Especially for CNN, part of obviously a much larger conglomerate. But it's very demoralizing when you're at a network, having been at MSNBC when ratings were totally trash during the second Obama administration. And so it's very demoralizing, and it creates a lot of agitation within the organization for change. And so if you have someone come in a position of power that has a different vision they want to implement, that gives them the cards to play, to make some big shakeups and make some big changes. We'll see, but that is very interesting. And I'm sure that the other anchors and contributors there are definitely taking note that Chris was actually punished for this.
Yes.
Because there is no one who had more power as an anchor than he did within that organization, both because his ratings among the terrible ratings were the highest and because of this extremely close relationship with Jeff Zucker, and also because he's a Cuomo. I mean, he's, networked in and wired into all of the power centers
American royalty
in New York City and in the state at large. So the fact that he is being punished really says something. Now look, is Chris Cuomo going to get fired? I think that's very unlikely. No. I think they're probably going to do what they did with Jeffrey Toobin.
Right. Which is, we'll give him 3 months.
Sit him on the bench for a little while, let things calm down, let memories fade about what this whole mess was all about.
Yep.
And then when it feels safe, bring him back in and there'll be minimal outcry. I think that's kind of the plan they have in place for him. There was one, I just had to share this one little nugget from that CNN tear sheet that we put up before, because this is their in-house write-up by their media critics. I think
who
it's
are also
Filter
both hacks.
and Oliver Darcy, who wrote this up. And they had this line in there that I just thought was really funny, as they're trying to spin what is just an unconscionable, embarrassing situation for CNN. They said, while many media critics said the suspension was necessary, some viewers expressed disappointment that he was taken off the air. I loved that sentence. Trying to spin this like it was just the media that cared about it. This was just media critics who cared about it. The viewers are demanding Chris Cuomo come back on the air. I thought that was amusing. But Chris Cuomo is not the only one who came off looking really bad in this new report that came out from Letitia James, AG of New York, who's been on top of this thing from the beginning and is now running for governor. So Katie Tur at MSNBC, let's go ahead and throw this tweet up on the screen. Katie Tur, while she was reporting on new developments of Andrew Cuomo live on the air, is effectively reading text messages directly from Liz Smith, who of course was a Mayor Pete advisor, but also was a longtime Cuomo advisor and was intimately involved in the sort of cover-up and defense of Cuomo throughout all of this. Liz wrote, "I'm texting with Katie Tur. Katie is saying my spin live, like verbatim," okay? And they went back and pulled the video of what Katie Tur was saying at that point. And she was literally reading text messages off of her phone. So she was actually, at that moment, just completely regurgitating the spin that Liz Smith was giving her on behalf of Cuomo and not telling her audience that that's what she was doing. And so because this was kind of buried in the report and didn't get as much attention as obviously like the big news of Chris Cuomo getting suspended, MSNBC has nothing to say about the fact that one of their stars was just nakedly repeating the talking points being handed to her in real time from a political operative.
These people have no shame. That is unbelievable. Also, NBC News did not respond to a request for comment.
Well, and here's the thing is like, this is par for the course.
Yes.
This is not a one-off.
They just got caught. Yeah.
Yes, this is not a one-off. This is not a fluke. This is totally standard operating procedure. Because these people all run in the same circles.
Yeah, they're friends. They hang out.
They're friends. They all know each other. The reporters, they don't see themselves as, holding power to account, at least not when it's their team. They like to be in the club. They like to feel like they're in the know. They like to feel like they're getting text messages from someone who's close to the powerful person or from the powerful person themselves. They love that feeling. And not only that, they're rewarded for it because that access then pays dividends down the road.
CNN contract,
and so
break stories.
So the closer you are, the more chummy you are, the more ingratiated into these social circles you are, the higher you're gonna rise at these organizations. That's how a Cuomo gets to be the, primetime major anchor of their network in the first place. So the whole thing, incredibly revealing, peek behind the curtain of how these people operate day in and day out, and why they never say a critical thing. They never want to push too hard. They want to ask too hard of a question, all of that stuff. Or they'll just ignore stories entirely when it's inconvenient for someone who's, in their circle. This is, and they're not upfront about it either. I mean, that would be if you have a conflict of interest and you're upfront about, that happens.
Yeah.
People exist in the world and they know each other, and you're upfront about it, and there are ways to deal with that. But all of this is, they're pretending to be neutral, objective actors, and really they're texting Liz Smith and repeating her talking points.
It's not hard. You and I have done this before. People are running for office. They're like, look, he's my friend. Like J.D. Vance. I literally, he's my friend. Like, I can't cover him objectively. It's not going to happen. Same, what was J.D. Schulten? There are other people.
Nina Turner.
Right. Those are personal friends. This is how it happens. And you just have to be upfront about it. Just be like, listen, this is how it is. I can try to give you some objective analysis on this, and this, but that's just going to color your commentary no matter what. And this guy was his brother. Like, it wasn't even his friend.
Right.
That's what really makes it crazy. Cuomo did address it on his SiriusXM show. I'm sure has a lot of listeners.
There's like 5 people and they all work in media.
Reporters. Says, quote, "It hurts to even say it. It's embarrassing, but I understand it. I understand why some people feel the way they do about what I did. I've apologized in the past, and I mean it."
Yeah, your apology in the past.
He goes, "It's the last thing I ever wanted to do was compromise my colleagues. I know they have a process that they think is important. I respect it. So I'm not going to talk about this any more than that."
His apology in the past, though, was packed full of lies.
Yeah.
I mean, he really misrepresented at best.
No, he is a liar, 100%, about his role in this.
What he was actually doing here. I mean, just to remind you guys, we covered the story on Tuesday, but what came out is he was using his sources in the media world to get information about what was going to come out so that he could help his brother respond. He was tracking down leads on at least one of the women who had made an accusation. I mean, just wildly unethical behavior. And then he was telling Melissa DeRosa, who was the top Cuomo aide that he was texting with, delete this thread. So he knew in real time that this was not remotely okay, what he was doing. And the way he portrayed it to the public was like, maybe that he'd been on a couple calls, but that was really about it. Yeah.
He's such a liar. Just to give you guys a preview of what that chummy little relationship looks like, yesterday was Jen Psaki's birthday, and our friends in the press took the time out of their day to sing happy birthday to her during the press briefing. Not a joke. Let's take a listen.
Zeke, go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. And just first off, happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. 25 feels really good, guys, as you all know, so I appreciate it.
On the topic of COVID.
As someone who was once in the press corps, that was never happening under Sarah Sanders, and probably a good thing, okay?
Happy birthday to Kaylee.
It's so embarrassing.
Sean Spicer.
What is wrong with you people? I mean, really, and they know they're on camera, and they just don't care. It's like
I wouldn't mind if it was consistent, like if they sang happy birthday for everyone. I wouldn't actually mind, because they're human beings.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's all you need to know about that story and the people that generally try to bring you the news, quote unquote.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.